Hello, guys. Welcome to another edition of the Abraxas podcast. We have with us Dave,
Hi, hello.
John.
Hello, guys.
How is life? What happened since the last recording?
So I was in Cairo. I returned 2 days ago.
Nice. We will talk a lot. This was kind of a teaser. Today's episode, we will talk about the pyramids, how did they become what they are, the legends surrounding around them. We will also talk about the new infrastructure investments in Cairo. You could call them the modern day pyramids. We are going to talk about the new administrative district. But Dave, what happened to you as well?
I thought that this was more just like to bring up the topics for today. The reason why you asked that, because nothing really happened to
It's
me.
like a general small talk, man. Something interesting must have happened to you.
You got me there. I mean,
You were preparing for your exams, weren't you? How did the exams work out? Did you pass them? How do you feel?
I haven't had a
You said that you are having one on Monday.
Monday. Yeah, it's next Monday.
Okay, so you are preparing for your exams only. That's what you are doing.
But yeah, surely. No, it's really it really is like it's an examination period. So usually what I do on a day-to-day basis is sit down and study. So and then we also like preparing for this podcast was more how to say, like, workload heavy than the previous one. So I was preparing for this. So
And I think you guys also had the coldest day in Portugal, no?
yeah, we had a 10-degree day, so that was terrible.
Unbelievable. It's -6 here, but I cannot imagine how bad you must feel for 10 degrees.
In Cairo,
And then
it's 25.
25?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah, because they're closer to the equator.
Yeah.
So
You never have to wear coat there, even in winter.
Coat companies hate that. I mean, different. It's interesting how, without moving that much, how much of a different weather can you have? But let's move on to today's topic. As we already said, it's about the Egyptians and the Cairo. John, you were in Cairo last week, right?
As I said, yeah, I were in Cairo last week. It was just a weekend, so I left Budapest Friday and I returned home Monday night. So it was just a few days, but it was really a lot experience. So yeah, I saw the pyramids, of course, the pyramids of Giza. I was in Memphis. I saw the bazaar in Cairo, and of course the city itself is really interesting. This was the first time for me in Africa, and it was a shocking experience because it's from Europe. It's really unbelievable how the people operate there, how the society operate there. The city is just crazy. The traffic is crazy. It just on most of the cars there are no lights, there are no lanes on the roads, there are no crossing on the roads, so the pedestrians just crossing the roads everywhere.
Did you guys take the public transport or did you guys rent cars? What kind of method did you use?
No, I didn't have the bravery to use the public transport because the buses were really old. So in
Older than in Budapest.
Yeah, way older. In Budapest, they can't use old buses like this. So we didn't use taxi because taxis very, very expensive for tourists because they try to give you a more expensive price and they do tricks with you. So we used Uber because in Uber you will know the price forward. So
It's a
the best.
fixed price. Yeah.
And
You know what to expect.
very, very cheap. Everything is cheap in Cairo, although uh, they almost every time give more expensive prices to tourists. So in a museum, in a restaurant, everywhere there is price for tourists and there is prices for locals. And so they try to trick tourists. They try to get as much money as
John?
they can get from you, but it's cheap. Even like this, it's very cheap. People are
Just
very poor.
became you just became a snowman for like 30 minutes or 30 seconds. So if you could, now you're frozen again.
Oh,
Are you
that's
there, Mister?
I am I am here. You
It
Okay.
don't.
should be it should be fine on the recording anyway, by the way. So
You think so? Okay.
So maybe I will wait a little bit. George will cut this out.
and of
Wait a
course.
little bit. Wait a little bit for the construction workers to build the internet cables, or
Yeah, for the guy with the
what if?
internet to arrive with the wheelbarrow and just dump the internet all over the place. But Dave, you can take over in the meantime. Dave, you have also been to Egypt, right? But you were much younger. Do you remember anything, or as a very young guy, you were like what 10, 15 years ago there? What is it that you still remember to this day?
The bargaining culture, the negotiating stuff, that was really a huge thing for us as well. We didn't have Uber back in the days, so we really did take a taxi. But I remember that was quite hell of an experience because they had taken us in a really like broken Volkswagen Transporter, and you didn't know if they're just gonna come for your kidney or this is a serious taxi driver. So I mean, it was really beaten up. And then we went to the market that was like um, promoted by the local people. They were like, "Yeah, you need to see that." And that was like for my first time when I saw like a market which you usually see in like movies when people they're like all over the place, like all um, the merchants, the products. I mean, they were selling, for example, meat, and the meat was just like thrown out on these tables, and then you saw the bugs and the flies like flying all over. So I was like, okay, it's I wasn't really sure that if it's like a thing for European um, people. And
Stomach,
then
even European stomach.
oh
What
yeah,
you are
yeah,
telling me, the meat must be at least a tiny bit rotten since it's also like super hot there, right? So there is no refrigeration whatsoever.
yeah, they didn't really care about that. Then we were always told, I don't know, did you John, like did you drink? You probably didn't, but like you're not supposed to drink the tap water. You know that, right?
Yeah, I didn't drink it, although uh, in lot of places they gave you tap water and they say it's mineral water because of course tap water is cheaper and they try to sell it for you more expensive like it's mineral water. So yeah, you have to be careful. But we were careful because we knew this in advance that they were trying to do this with us. So we always check that uh, uh, how to say
The
the
seal wasn't broken, right?
seal wasn't broken. Yeah, we always check that. So they tried a few times, but we checked it. So I didn't drink water, luckily.
Mm.
Nice.
Man, there was one time when we were there because actually we made friends during the flight. I remember. Now we talk about it. They were like also Hungarians, and then the grandfather, he, he. So we went to a bar, and the grandfather asked for a cocktail, and the cocktail like it contained ice, and he was like, "Oh yeah, thanks," and he drank it, and then we went back home, and like the next day, he's like, ah, bro, those like a scene for them actually, the whole family, because because the younger guy, he also started to throw up just because seeing his grandfather throwing up. And then
Wow.
the mom also drinks something, but it's like you're not supposed to drink even the ice, or like drink anything that they have containing an ice, because the ice is also made of tap water. So
Oh. Well, it's like a super small quantity, right? So it must have been like 1 deciliter at best. So it's really not even that lot, and even that can cause this much damage. It's
I think
quite
it's
surprising.
different for everyone. So there must be people. I mean, I think they drink it, right?
Of course, yeah.
Is there? I'm
Well, that's
not
what I've heard.
sure.
I haven't been, but that's what I've heard.
I'm not
What?
sure if they. I mean, the
Egyptian
locals,
people, they drink their own tap water, right?
I don't. I think they not, but I'm not sure.
I mean, they have to, otherwise they wouldn't be trying to sell it. No, like you said that they were trying to fake you, or like make you think that you are getting mineral water, and instead you are getting like tap water. I mean, they must be able to be able to drink them both for the con not to work.
I don't know. I don't know. But it's like they trying to trick you, and a few hours later you throw up. You can't be sure you throw up of their water or because of something else. So it's not concerns them. So
John, the way you are shown on my screen is like I put the playback speed, like play speed to like 2 times, like 2x. It's like blah, 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 and then you freeze, then blah, 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 and then you freeze. Unbelievable.
yeah, your Wi-Fi connection is not really working, Dave.
Yes, it's on my side, obviously.
The Western European, Southern European internet is just intolerable. But anyway, John, tell us about and the viewers about the pyramids. Which pyramids did you see? What did you like about them? Because I have, obviously we were all read about the pyramids as a child. We have learned about them in history class. For example, like the seven wonders of the world.
Yeah.
The pyramids are one of those seven wonders, and as far as I know, there is nobody really knows how they were built. There are like a lot of theories, like aliens and then gods, and then I'm not sure if they used like ships or woods or just manpower. So what were the tools? Did you learn any specific stories, or what was your impression regarding the whole thing?
Uh, I don't know, Dave, if you remember the pyramids or if you seen them. Uh, I don't know. Did you hear this?
Yeah, I hear it, but what, you're looking for a confirmation or what?
Did you see?
Why is it relevant? Yeah, I saw it, but why is it relevant?
Uh, so I just want to ask. My first impression of the Great Pyramid and the two pyramids of Giza. I felt that it's not in how to say this. So it's really different than other old buildings. Like they just build it differently. It's I had an impression, uh, uh, and when I was inside the pyramid, I had an impression that they can't build this the same people who built, I don't know, the other things in ancient Egypt. It's just really different. So I wanted to ask if you have had this impression when you saw them. How do you remember?
I don't think that my like memories or my experience is gonna be relevant because I was like 7 or 8 when I was
But
there.
it must have had like a lasting impression on you, no? Or
No, I really don't. I don't really remember. I mean, I only have like smaller like parts that I remember that I can still remember. So
So the reason that there are so many theories about how they build the Great Pyramids. It's because it's really incredible, the structure of it. First of all, the stones are very, very big. So one stone, I made some notions, so I will check it.
Made some notion.
But it can be used as a verb, right? Like that's the whole like notion.so. I'm notioning. John notion some details to us.
Yeah, I notioned something. So one stone is 2.5 tons weight, or there are bigger stones which is 15 tons. So this means one stone could be no, I said no, 7. So there is stone which is 15 tons, and there is stone which is 70 tons. 70 tons means it's an elephant weights multiply more than 10. So it's really, really, really heavy, and it's incredible how it was. How could they move the stones and place it in order? So not just move it far away, they place it very high. So the Great Pyramids of Giza was the tallest building for like 3,000 and 800 years in the earth.
Wow.
So it's really tall, and they somehow lifted the stones very high, and the 70 tons stone are in like more than 100 meters high. So I don't know how they lifted them so high. As I said, it's more than 10 elephant one stone, and we're talking about hundreds of stones like this. So it's a question how they were able to place them on the right place, and how they placed them. It's very, very accurate. So it's a masterpiece. It's incredible, and this is just one thing, but there are other things like the corners of the pyramids is they direct to north, south, west, and east, and it's almost perfect to these directions. There is a little bit slightly error, but almost perfect, and it's incredible how they were able to do this. Uh, Really a masterpiece, and
Yeah, I mean, just going back to that big ass stones. Like I don't know if you think about like what is the pinnacle of modern architecture. I don't know. You think about the Empire State Building, the Burj Khalifa, or like like modern skyscrapers, right? But the thing is that those are made up of much smaller elements individually. So you have like a big steel beam or like a big glass, but it doesn't weigh nearly as much as something you have described. So that's why I think it's really amazing, as you said, that they were able to do it. Because as someone I know less than you guys, because I have never been to see these pyramids. I can really think about that. We might be missing something very obvious, and that's the only reason I can see. I'm gonna say something stupid. Maybe there was the mountain there where the pyramids are right now. There were a mountain before, like 3,000 years ago, and they just carved it out of the mountain or something stupid like that. But of course, it's impossible. So it's a really weird how we don't know how did they solve a problem
now you just
3,000
both of
years
you
ago, and we are
froze.
on
So
paper so much more advanced.
yeah,
So
now it works.
it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, and they can't answer a lot of things about how they built it. And what is interesting, so the Great Pyramid of Giza, it's almost 5,000 years old, so it's really, really ancient. There are theories that it's older, but we know it's so the scientists know that it is this age is accurate, so it's 5,000 years old, because with carbon isotope examination, they couldn't examine the stones, but they could examine the I don't know the name of it, what is between the stones, because it's from it was from living material, and it shows that it's they built the pyramids 2,700 years ago before Christ or something like this. So we know the age of it, but we don't know how they built it. And actually, the Sphinx, which is very close to the Great Pyramid, it's debatable if it's that old like the Great Pyramid, because historian says that the Sphinx was built when the Great Pyramid were built, but the Sphinx could be a lot older, because they find water erosion on the wall of the Sphinx, which could because of a heavy rainfall for like
The
1,000.
snowman.
What? Okay.
Snowman
Snowman came
effect
back.
is back.
It could be because of a heavy rainfall for like thousands of years, and there were a rainfall like this, but it was more than 10,000 years ago, and they say that the Sphinx was there when they built the pyramids, and the Egyptians recarved it. So maybe it was a lion, and they made a head of it to a pharaoh. And it's quite logical, because the Sphinx is really weird. So it's like an animal with a head of a pharaoh, and actually the head is a little bit small compared to its body. So maybe the Sphinx is a lot more older. And so there's a lot of debate about how they built the pyramids. And some people say there were technologies were really different from today's technology, but really advanced, and they could use somehow the human mind, and some. So it sounds a little bit weird, but they origin these technologies from shamanism, uh,
This
and
is taking a turn.
Now we get into the main thing.
Welcome to the real podcast, guys.
so they say it's an ancient, there were an ancient society with a very different technology than today's technology, but it was very advanced, and there were sea level rises more than 10,000 years ago, which what is demolished that ancient world, and some of it could remain in the old kingdom in ancient Egypt, and they could use this technology or part of this technology to build the pyramid of Cheops, the Great Pyramid. We don't know, so there are lots of theories. Somebody says that aliens built it, so we don't know, but it's I can't personally, I can't believe it that they could build it as the mainstream historian says, that lots of workers somehow lifted up the stones, and they just can't do it with a 70 tons stone, and they can't do it hundreds of them and place them in very, very accurately. So I think it's impossible, and there were a technology
What's
which
happening?
was lost, and they used that technology. It's a really interesting topic, and I mean
there are a lot of theories, But
Yeah.
let's be honest, like some of them are more likely than others. And if I have to choose between them lifting it with their own hands, or like shamans doing the and it being lifted some magical ways, then I know where I'm placing my odds. So
Okay, but let's just say maybe not as you said, that they said "Lulu," and they lifted somehow with singing or something, but there was a technology uh, uh,
but
which
I mean, correct me if
What
I'm
is
wrong,
it?
but sorry, Dave.
yes,
Like what is the technology? Because back in the days it didn't, like, the wheel didn't exist. So like, because there are, I mean, they made these the findings were made that some of the stones were from like 800 miles away from the pyramids themselves. So
Yeah.
and they still don't know how they managed to bring the stones there.
Yeah,
So
so the
so
biggest,
then
the heaviest stones, what I said, the 70 tons stones was very, very far away, like more than 500 miles away from south. They carried it. Okay, they carried it somehow. It's hard to imagine how they carried it for 500 miles, but maybe they would able to do it like with ropes, a lot of men. But how they lift it up and place it in this precise order, I can't imagine. So I say, and there had to be a technology which was lost.
oh, come on. Man, I couldn't hear it. Even if it's good in the recording, I cannot relate. So what is that? What did you say?
You cannot relate to silence.
What did you say?
So I said it had to be a technology. You don't understand.
There are so funny glitches. It's like I said. At this point, I hope some of it shows up in the recording because it's super funny. It's a different kind of entertaining. It's one of those, like, meme kind of leggy footage. It's like, are you here? No. Yes. Can you hear me? And that just keeps happening.
I think the Wi-Fi connection is really good, but sometimes it just stop working for like 1 second, and after that, it works again. So
That's the definition of not good Wi-Fi connection. Let me tell you, bro. It's
works.
really good. It's really good, but it's
It's
not
like,
good.
my car works all the time perfectly, except in the mornings when I try to start it. Then it doesn't work perfectly. So
Yeah, but 1 second is a very
One
little time.
second.
1 second, 1 second.
1 second. 1 second.
But I mean, personally, I've never been to the pyramids, as I said before. But what really fascinates me is that they have been there for almost 5,000 years, right? And they have withstood so many, like, historic events and happenings and life of people. Like, imagine that, if they would also be like a human being or something, and then you live your life, you born, the pyramid is there, you go to work, it's still there, you retire, you spend time with your family, and then you die. And like, compared from the pyramid's perspective, you are just like one tiny fraction of a minute or something. And I think that's, personally, I haven't been, as I said multiple times, but I don't find the question of how did they build it that fascinating as the fact or the statement that how long has it been there, that the man-made structure was able to stand for that long. I think that's also super interesting, that they were just basically able to make something that works for
But
5,000 years.
the two questions are quite correlated to each other, like how they built it and how the buildings were able to, like, remain in their shape and form as they are, because it's really fucking fascinating that the perimeter of the perimeter and the height of the pyramids, especially for the the Gizan ones, they are like really close to 2p, and it's like they were I mean, back in the days, they didn't have the equipment to measure that without, like, I think, John, you mentioned it like previous, like a couple of days ago, that you needed like laser precision to be able to do that. But that's
Yeah.
like a really good how to say, like, angle to build really like strong structure for a building.
Yeah, it's incredible. And some scientists, or I don't know if they scientists, but they say themselves scientists, says that the height of the Great Pyramid, if you multiply it a number which is somehow correlates to the axis, to the how the Earth turns around of its axis. I don't know exactly. You can get the radius of the Earth between the North and the South Pole. So I have to look into this, but there are incredible numbers of the height, great pyramids of the height and of the base, which corresponds to numbers of lengths of the Earth, like the length between the North and the South Pole. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it's true, it's also incredible. But there are a lot of theories, so I think a lot of people are thinking about this, how they built it, how it is possible. Because if you see with your eyes, you will have questions about it. I have for sure.
How long did it take to build them?
They say, scientists say 20 years, which is also incredible, because the stones, there are more than 2.5 million of stones in the Great Pyramid. So somewhere read that in every 3 minutes they have to put a stone in place in this 20 years, which is incredible.
That doesn't make sense. Wait, one stone every 3 minutes. That's 20 stones in an hour. That's 480 stones in a day. That's what 1,700 what 100,000 and almost 200,000 stones, and if I multiply that by 20, I get like 3.5 million stones. Is it made out of 3.5 million individual stones?
No, I think you miscalculated it. I got like a little bit more than 2.5 million stones, and as I said, they built it from a little bit more than 2.5 million stones. So this is accurate, actually. They put a stone in place in every 3 minutes, if it's true. And they say more than 25,000 people worked on it.
I get 3.5 million, and I have calculated it now twice.
Okay.
It's like 20 times 24, you get a day, times 336 or 65, you get a year, times 20. You cannot see shit, right?
Wait.
20 times 24 times 365 times 20.
Okay.
Very interesting podcast. How do you guys make the calculation? We are doing what the scientists couldn't do for years. How did they build it? We are solving it right now with a calculator on a podcast. Quality entertainment. Quality entertainment.
Anyway,
it was the capacity, bro. We have the capacity.
We don't have the capacity. But yeah, I also read maybe Dave, you can explain that a bit more details. That when they built it originally, it was like super shiny, and it was like not how it looks right now. Like, why was that? Or why is that?
They used limestones, and I think those stones were like brought from really far away. And they also had this triangular shaped golden top of the
The capstone,
pyramids.
right?
The capstone, yeah.
And was it like
Um,
stolen? I guess it was stolen. Like 3,000 or like almost 5,000 years is a long time to store something, or to steal something.
what I know is that the limestones were, most of them were like stolen, and they built houses out of those.
Mm.
I don't know if there are any resources telling about what happened to the capstones themselves.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's really fascinating that from many things we have super detailed knowledge and information, and this one we still don't know the details, because correct me if I'm wrong, but if we think about like man-made structures, like skyscrapers or the Stonehenge, for example, or anything like that, we are aware how most of them was built, right? And as far as I can tell, this is like probably the biggest mystery, no? Or am I missing something?
Yeah, I think yes.
And John, can you elaborate a bit on the purpose of the build of the pyramids?
So,
Okay, let
uh,
me just before you start. Do you know anything about Kemet?
what?
Kemet,
I don't know what this word means.
K. It's written with Khemit.
Can you say
Ah,
the
It's
Hungarian?
I don't know what that is in either, so you're not the only one.
okay. It's like they call it Kemet School of Ancient Mysticism.
I don't know.
Um, it's like it's like a school. It's like a new school. I wouldn't say new school, but it's like all these like mystic stories that you bring up and like make it related to the Egyptian culture and history. If they are right, like if they are like not following the traditional approaches, then I think they put them into this Kemet school. Anyways, so uh, if no, then just can you tell what do you think? What was the purposes of building these kind of triangle-looking thingies?
So they say the mainstream science says that the purpose was to build a place for the pharaoh's uh, body after death, for the afterlife. So the Egyptians always thought about how they will live in the afterlife, how the body I don't know lives after death, and they basically build a place to the pharaoh after death. So this was the purpose of the pyramids, as they say. Of course, there are theories that there could be other purposes, uh, and again, the Great Pyramid is it's really different than other pyramid, and the Great Pyramid and the pyramid next to it. Uh, these two pyramids really different than other pyramids because other pyramids was built from small bricks, not like these big limestones, and yeah, in a lot of things they were different. So some people say the Great Pyramids is not wasn't for this purpose. It was for other purpose. Some people says it was somehow for as I said, there were nation technology, and somehow it was uh, for produced electricity or something. So I don't know, uh, but it's really interesting, like how it differs from other pyramids. But originally, it's for the pharaohs after death.
Nice. I
So
think
there
if
is,
it's okay with Dave.
yeah, okay. So they, do you believe that they built them to bury the pharaohs?
Yeah, I think they built them for the pharaohs. I'm not sure about, as I said, the Great Pyramid and the pyramid next to it, because they are really differs from other pyramids. But there are more than 80 pyramids what they found, and maybe there are more. Just don't find them yet. And I think most of them was for the pharaohs, as history science says.
Did you, when you were like walking inside the pyramids,
Yeah, I
like
was in the Great
did you
Pyramid.
did you have a feeling that you're walking in a tomb?
I wouldn't say that.
It's
I
super
Yeah.
touristy. That's what I'm guessing, right? That you really had a feeling that you were walking in a museum, no? That's what I would guess.
nah, inside the Great Pyramid, of course, there are a lot of tourists. But what was really interesting that you have to go up, and there were it's a tunnel. So at the beginning, it's very narrow, and you can't uh, uh, walk. How they say, like stand
Straight
up,
up, yeah, 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 yeah.
up. But there are a place of the tunnel which is very high. So I don't know why is this, like you have to walk like this, and then it's just like I don't know, more than 30 meters high or something. And after that, again, you have to walk like this. And in the king's chamber, the king's chamber is the place where you go up. So they say that is uh, there was the uh, pharaoh's body. They never found it, but they say there was the pharaoh's body, and it's like very wet. So the I don't know. It's a really interesting feeling. Like the humidity level is really high there, but only there.
Do you know why?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
Yeah, it might be just a coincidence, or I don't know. I think maybe we once more I'm being a skeptic, or I'm playing on the side of the skeptic people, but maybe a lot of things that we think they did it on purpose, they were actually did it by accident. Like I simply cannot imagine that they built things or rooms like especially with like humidity in mind. They just like probably thought that for their religion they need like a big chamber, and then it became humid as a side effect of the design. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if people that are smarter than us, they also don't know, then we stand no chance of actually finding it out. So you don't feel bad. Okay, but enough about the pyramids. Let's move on to the new projects of Egypt. I think there might be this might be a generational thing among them, that they have to build something super impressive and super important in in every century, that that will stand for a long time. what we also want to talk about in today's podcast is the new capital city they are building, basically. And what is really interesting to know about the geography of Egypt, that is like a desert, right? So the only place where there is life is next to the river Nile, and as a result, population is super concentrated. The population density of Cairo is unbelievably high. In Egypt, 100 million people lives. 100 million. That's a lot, and 20 million of those people live in Cairo. So it's a super crowded city, and simply they don't have enough physical space for more infrastructure investment, and that makes it very complicated, to even do basic government things like run your country. And that's why they announced a super interesting project back in 2015 that 70 kilometers from Cairo, they will build the new capital city. They haven't named it yet, but they are spending $60 billion. So that's a lot of money on building it. And then they will have just, I'm going to list some landmarks, the largest park, which will also have its own river, which is just sixth the time of New York's not Times Square. What they have? Central Park. Yeah, 6 times the size of Central Park. They will have the Octagon, which is the same as Pentagon, but Octagon. So it must be cooler because it has 8 sides instead of 5. That will be the largest military complex in the world. And they are also building the iconic tower. That's their name. Super creative. They must have thought about it a lot. Which is the tallest building in Africa. So they are really having some very, significant projects which they really want to symbolize the status of Egypt in general, maybe the same way they did with the pyramids back then. So, but still it has some cons as well. Of course, the huge costs, the fact that this is an artificial city. This is not their first one, by the way, but and also the government is not very democratic in Egypt. It more the current governor. He used to be the leader of the military, so you can say that this is kind of like an autocratic government, and if they are far away, they cannot protest.
On every, so his image was there on every, I don't know, second house. Even I saw it on a temple, so you can saw him everywhere in Cairo. It's incredible. Sorry.
And I just get like a little button that actual recording is higher quality. I fucking hope so. Come again, John, so we can hear it as well.
I just said that I don't know his name, who runs the country right now. His image is everywhere in Cairo, and only his image. So he's like on every second house. Even I saw him on a temple, which is incredible. So you can see Viktor Orban in a lot of
President of Hungary, by the way, just prime minister.
How they say the
posters or
poster,
billboards.
Billboards. You can see him on a lot of billboards, but the president of Egypt, you can see him on everywhere, and only him. So yeah, I guess that it's not really democratic.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like this is also the speculation that they are moving away the whole government from the middle of the city for this exact reason, because the last coup, which overthrew the last government, it exactly started in the middle of the city where the government buildings are. So like you are a Ministry of Interior or something, Ministry of Defense, and then they start protesting right in front of you, then you cannot do anything. Like basically you have to step down, or if everything goes super bad, you cannot even live a life, perhaps. But if you are 70 kilometers away from any protest, by the time they arrive, if they arrive, you are already away safe and sound in your jet, and you have nothing to worry about. So this is also like big theory on that's why they are doing this. What do you guys think about the whole thing? Dave, do you think it would be possible to, for example, to build something like this in Europe, or when you read about it, what was your opinion?
I think these are like two separate cultures, so I don't think that European people would like to adopt a change like that. So I would approach it for more like a social questions, not the construction itself or like the technical parts.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, if you think about it, like London and like Amsterdam, for example, is also super crowded. So it also makes sense, or like The Hague, to remove some of the government buildings and put it somewhere else. So the population is more balanced. It makes sense in a very crowded environments.
But it's more like a Middle East thing, I think, to do these kind of buildings. Because if I'm not mistaken, in Saudi Arabia, they are building this construction, which is like a line. The whole building is like in one line, and then they are. Sorry.
One building.
Yeah.
What?
The whole thing is in one line.
So it's one very long building.
Yeah. And then
I didn't hear about that.
And then they include like everything basically inside. So then you're gonna have like the grocery, the pharmacy, the gym, your workplace, your home, and everything is basically, and you don't need to like get out of that. And basically, what they try to do with that is like to fight the sustainability issues that they are facing.
So it's like the 15-minute city concept, right? That everything you need is in a 15-minute circle around you by public transport or foot or whatever. If you just create one super, super big building, then I guess everything will be in 15 minutes around you as well, no?
Yep. Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think that it would be like adoptable for a European person. I don't know. I mean, I haven't asked Saudi Arabians, but like I feel like for a Western European person, it's we still care more about our like freedom and the feeling of getting like still being close to nature. Or it's more like a subjective comments from my side, but me personally, I would never live in a place like that because they're like so disconnected from the real world. I'm not really a fan of those kind of things.
I mean, if you live in the desert anyway, or like desert, that's
yeah.
There isn't much nature there anyway, or like the one to admire or enjoy in any way, shape, or form.
For example, what you have in Dubai, yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's like so artificial, the whole thing, that you're like.
I guess it's better than just looking at sand, because as Anakin said, I hate sand. It's rough and coarse. It gets everywhere.
Nice.
But John, were you able to see the new capital, or have you not see, but like get in sort of any touch with it? Or like, for example, they are also planning to build like a rail that will take you there. So were you able to notice that, like the government buildings are moving?
No, actually, I heard it from you for the first time. So no, I haven't noticed it, unfortunately. So when I arrived to Cairo, our apartment was in the city center, and even in the city center, I was like, Jesus Christ, this place is so shitty and it's terrible. Like, so poor, and how the people can live here. And for me, whole Cairo was like this. So I haven't seen a new uh, quarter of the city where there were very new building, and it was very modern, and it looked good. Most of the they haven't finished most of the buildings, but people lives in. And if you go from the outer uh, areas, if you go to the outer area of Cairo, a lot of people uses horses and I don't know the English name of the animal where Jesus went to Jerusalem, right?
Donkey.
Donkey, I guess. Yeah. So a lot of people use donkey for transportation. So yeah, I haven't seen this new area of Cairo.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that, if I would be a government, I just look at all that, look at all what you saw, and, decide that it's easier to start brand new. But also building like a whole like city or community in the desert, that also doesn't seem very sustainable, as they've mentioned previously, because all the cooling, having to rebuild everything once he takes them apart, and also the different buildings are kind of far away from each other, so some of them are only accessible by car, so that also kind of kills the concept of everything being super close together. I think it's a very interesting experiment. As I said, Egypt or Cairo specifically have already built some artificial cities, so to say. For example, the New Cairo. There's something called the New Cairo, which is
Yeah.
mind-boggling. The 10th of Ramadan city and stuff like that. So they have already had projects like this. This is just more ambitious in size and in responsibility and everything. So I think it's really interesting to see that they are definitely signaling that they are the superpower of Africa, and they are the strongest nation inside Africa. But just as like a human experiment, basically, that what happens that if you repopulate like the desert and move a bunch of people there, and what will happen.
Mm.
And some of the buildings are already finished. I think, for example, some of the temples and churches, they are already done. I think this iconic tower skyscraper, the tallest building in Africa, that is already finished. I'm not sure if people have started moving in yet, but I think some of the buildings are already done. They are also building a lot of international schools, international institutes. For example, there will be a German international school, an American one, of course. There is one for Canada as well. So they are really also planning on a lot of embassies moving there. And then, the family and the staff of the embassies can just, live and work there. So they are really planning to build like a separate parallel city for the bureaucrats and official diplomatic staff. And I'm really interested to see how it will shape the society that the government lives so detached from the rest of the working class people, because at least in Europe, every like head of a country and prime minister or president can see their city when they go through it, and they can judge the morale, they can judge how the people are doing, but this will make them a lot more distant. Well, I think we have talked a lot about Egypt. Any specific closing thoughts, guys? John, give some travel recommendation as a closing thought. Do you think it's worth going there? Do you think people should go somewhere else? What was your experience like? As a recommending a travel guide.
I think it absolutely worth going there. I would recommend us to going there. I think it would be very funny. For the three of us to be
Do
in
a video there. Yeah.
So of course that part when they trying to trick you and get as much as possible from you, it's not a good experience. But so there are bad people, but normally the Egyptian people are very, very kind and heartwarming. And the culture is incredible.
I think it would be like a super interesting challenge that we each go to the bazaar, we each get like 100 Egyptian pound, and then see that who can buy the same stuff for the least amount of money, or who can get the most amount of stuff for the fixed amount of money, and it's just this is like a haggling challenge that who can make the best like deals in that bazaar.
Yeah, it's a good challenge, totally. Because you always have to bargain, so you can. We bought two similar clothes in the bazaar, two different places, and one was like 8,500 pounds, and the other was no, not 80, like
850, no?
850, and the other was 350 pounds. So, and it was the same, really. So you have to bargain and
make sure you get the best deals possible. Yeah. It's the thing is that it's, as a European, it's probably really hard to judge what is considered a good deal compared to them and compared to you, because I think if I can spoil some stuff, we also made a video that each one of us what kind of breakfast can we make for like €5, and let's just say that if we only look at quantity, John really won by a long shot. So while none of us were struggling to make a good breakfast for €5, John really brought the most stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Bro, I made a meal. Come on.
Yeah, and I have to show this again. Like, this is the.
Keeping it
Come
classy.
on. I think I won actually.
Nobody has seen the video yet, so I cannot say that for certainty.
I also paid €8, not 5.
Okay, then you're immediately disqualified. Then it's just between John and I.
Okay, let me finish. Let me finish, you mother. Let me finish. I can't see John.
It works for me.
No, the only thing I wanted to say is that yes, I paid $8, but I also bought some sandwiches or some other stuff. So I think it was like $5.90 or something. So maybe a euro more.
That's still 20% if you think about it in terms of percentage. Anyway, you guys, the viewers, can see the results in YouTube once we upload the video. But then this is it for today's podcasts. Thank you guys for listening, and I wish you a very nice week, day, month, whenever you're listening to this. And goodbye, guys.
Goodbye. Guys. Adios.
Amigos.
See you in the next one.